Welcome back, heroes, to Realms of Halvidor. Which one of my players would like to do the recap for this session?
I guess I will.
Okay, go ahead.
So, last session we talked to the Hall of Heroes Guildmaster, accepted 2 additional quests in addition to our main one. We traveled to a set of ruins for the first one. We met what we think is a new adventurer, whoever with us, and we solved a puzzle to get into a chamber where we found a dagger-shaped water shard, and we solved another puzzle that'll let us go further into the dungeon.
All right, that was pretty fantastic. Go ahead and mark on your sheet that you have 1 realm point that you can use later to upgrade your character.
Okay.
And from there, you are standing at the edge of this pool of water, where on the other side is an open doorway. Anything you'd like to talk about or do before you proceed inside?
I'd want to check on S to make sure he's okay after being beaten by the water elemental.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty much back to normal. You bumped me about halfway full of HP, so.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling okay. How's everyone else?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
Everyone else didn't take hits.
That's true. Well, anything
They
you guys...
dealt them. I took them.
Well, anything else you guys think we should do here? Or should we continue on as I gesture towards the entryway?
Well, I don't think there's anything else in this room, but I'll look over towards our new friend. Is there anything you can think of?
Alara just looks around and just looks back up at you. Just says, no, I think we've done most of the things in this room. Are we ready to proceed?
I believe we are.
After you, Hyrule says, speaking up. Go ahead, lead the way.
Referring to Alara, right?
Sorry, yes, it was referring to Alara.
Okay.
She did offer to try to find traps for us.
Does seem a little startled at the request initially, but then just a deep breath and then, okay, I will go a little ways in and let you know if it's safe. You will hear a flute.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
How far ahead can I will see?
Oh, I've got full dark vision. I can see 120 feet in the dark.
Okay. Um, S looks up at Hyrule and gives him that look and looks at Alara like you've seen the look dozens of times, like keep a sharp eye on them.
And Hyrule basically looks like they're batting a fly off, but you know that means yes, I was already planning.
And with that, Alara takes a small swim across this little bit of water before uh, stepping up into the doorway there, um, and proceeding down a flight of stairs as you hear the click clacking of boots as they proceed deeper and deeper in, ever so carefully.
I will also stealthily follow, quiet as can be, because you can't hear my wings flap. But, I don't want to be spotted by her either.
Okay, so you don't want to be spotted by her. Go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Solid.
At this point, you would also have access to guidance.
$28.
That's really, really good. Yeah, so uh, how far back would you like to stay? I guess that's the question.
How tall is the pathway?
It's just your standard doorway between 7 and 8 feet high. Um, Nothing crazy. This stone hallway that leads down a stone pair of steps. I guess you can see up to 120 feet. So looking inside, you will see down this slick hallway. Nothing on the ceiling, nothing on the walls, but further and further down, it goes uh, about 50, 55 feet before you see a floor, and it continues further in, but you can't see any deeper because of the way it arches on the ceiling for the stairs.
Okay. I'm gonna stay at least 3/4 of the flight behind her until she hits that ground level, and then I'm gonna um go up to half and gain as much vision as I can to try and keep her in sight, but still using the natural curve to keep me out of sight.
Right. Okay. Um, they proceed further down, just very gingerly and carefully, making sure to check each step as well as the wall and taking a careful look over the immediate ceiling before they proceed another step further down and down and down. And then their foot just gingerly touches the actual end of the stairs before looking further in. Doesn't seem to anything reactory toward them. No traps were triggered or of this sort. As they begin to pull out their flute, and you can see them play just a string of 5 notes, doo 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 doo, as it echoes back up the chamber.
I'll wait for everybody else to catch up before I proceed down.
will take the lead on this in front of the other ones.
And I'm following behind us, so
I'll follow as well.
Everybody eventually collects near the bottom of this stairwell. And Hyrule, now you can see further in, there's no light source further down this way. So anyone who has limited or no access to dark vision won't see all the way to the end of the hall. But Hyrule, you see about between 70 and 80 feet, there is another open room, as well as you see another 25 feet inside of this room is a large, flat, central sarcophagus that is laying there. On top of it, the flat top seems to be a bunch of what looks to be coins of some kind that are just laid and just scattered about this whole sarcophagus, dripping onto the ground as well around it. And on the far end are these intricate looking vases. Possibly this was someone that a highly valued individual that they decided to bury inside of this shrine or temple or whatever it is.
So, what have we gotten ourselves into?
some adventuring and probably grave robbing.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me. Um,
I can't see anything.
oh yeah, I forgot. Um, anyway, there's a whole sarcophagus and coins and expensive looking stuff in there. Like, it's different. It's a thing. Think there might be a body in there.
Do you see a Laura?
I thought she was right here with us. Am I mistaken?
She is. She's standing.
Oh.
Everyone's standing just behind her, and she's
Okay.
kind of in that same position with her foot on the floor at the bottom at the edge of the stairs.
I still can't see her.
Yep,
Oh wait,
hard
does
to
S have a torch?
I do have a torch.
I have 10, I believe. If anyone needs one.
S bends over real quick and lights his torch.
The torch, you can see a fair bit up the actual hallway itself. It doesn't quite reach all the way to the room, but you can see the residual dim light, an actual square box at where assumably their sarcophagi is sitting.
Well, who wants to go first?
But I look pointedly at Alara. You've been standing in that one spot for a bit. You okay?
Yeah, I know what these types of places can do, so I prefer to proceed with as much caution as I possibly can, or that's how I was taught, at least. I can proceed further. I would ask that you stand just a little ways back, just in case.
All right. Fine by me.
And takes her other foot and just steps onto the floor before once again the hallway now that you've lit the torch you can see this golden inlay scrawling that is along the sides of the wall that's kind of glistening a little bit. It has these swirling patterns. It almost looks like waves of sand that's just blowing throughout the desert. And you can see different huts and different villages placed in strategic spots around the wall. And surrounding these huts are these large protective walls that the wind looks like it hits and it goes over top of it, protecting the huts themselves. Then being sure to thoroughly check all of the scrolling as well as the floor, different stone blocks that make up the floor itself. They proceed a little further in, about 35 feet before getting about halfway up this hallway, and notices one particular image on the wall before turning and just kind of looking at it and giving it a quick once over. And proceeds all the way up to the edge of the room and turns around with that same little whistle on the flute.
I'll proceed.
So I.
Same here.
Well, as well. Try to follow her step by step.
I just stay in the air.
Yeah, step by step, you also meet up at the edge of this room, and now with the light thoroughly inside of here, you can see the sarcophagus in the center of the room is made of stone, but you can tell that it has that similar scrawling inside of it that's made up of that gold shimmering material, and these gold coins that are laid around the actual sarcophagus itself. The room's about 20 feet in all directions, height, width, length, everything, and it's sit at the very direct center, surrounded by 5 or 6 different looking vases. It looks to be having more of that artwork all over this place. And the walls are divided into 4 different sections, one for each element that has been represented throughout this entire place. And they all connect and meet where this sarcophagus is sitting. All in all, it looks like this place has been untouched.
Just because that sarcophagus is there, I'm gonna rock Divine Sense before we leave the room.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and proc your Divine Sense.
Done. Do I sense anything?
You do not. No.
Doesn't hurt to check.
Correct. As
And
you can
it's-
see, Alara, she's standing there now, just kind of looking back at everybody, waiting for the okay to proceed further.
So it's just the room, or are there other entrances to like other rooms?
This seems to be the end of it.
Okay.
Let's loot the sarcophagus. Kidding. Kinda.
Can I look at the jars? See what I learn about? Well, know about them?
I thought Alara was at the
Wow.
door waiting for the signal to go ahead.
Yeah.
You're more than happy to look at them. From this distance, you can see the particular side that they're facing. A lot of that detail. You can roll a history check from here, or you could wait to proceed a little bit further, and I'd give you a better history check if you do that. Up to you.
Yeah. I'll just wait until we're in the room itself.
Okay. Okay, so with that, Alara takes her first steps into this room, just very carefully, making sure to check for traps now. With a natural 20, awesome. Make sure to thoroughly check each individual section of this entire room, as well as kind of combs over the sarcophagus itself without actually physically touching it. And then turns back to everyone right there and says, "It doesn't seem to be any physical traps on any of this. You're okay to come in."
S goes ahead and enters the room.
I'll enter the room.
So will I.
And then I will as well, but I will also start flying up to examine the upper portion of the room to check for anything that might be out of reach of her.
Gotcha. Roll a perception or investigation.
Total 18?
Okay. And you're specifically looking for any types of traps that they missed?
Any signs of danger or things that could. Yeah, things along that line. Danger, anything that's, makes the heebie jeebies run.
Right. Yeah, and using what experience you do have as far as that regard, looking for danger, you go kind of piece by piece around this room as well as the ceiling, and you don't identify uh, any of that particular area as dangerous. Just pretty to look at, if anything.
And I'd like to roll my history check. No?
Yes, go ahead.
Uh, 22.
Okay. Go ahead and explain to me your process for examining this. There's four different bases there, each one representing a particular element.
Well, the first thing I would look for is any interesting symbols on them or decorations, I guess. Like I don't know, like symbols of for the elements, like if they have gems that symbolize what elements and if they're open, what's in them, but without immediately touching them first.
Okay. One of them is open. The rest of them do have uh, these thematic lids to them. So inside of the one that is open, you will see it being the earth, uh, it representing the earth element, does have a bunch of glittering sand inside, and it's about halfway full of this glittering sand. As far as your history check goes, I will say you know that particularly the fire element, there is a lot of that linked to um, the fire god, which happens to be a dragon that you have heard quite a bit from. Um, and you can only imagine that uh, this was one of the many, many cities from long ago that would have worshipped that particular god back before it had to be locked away into its own isolated realm and became corrupt as it did. So this whole experience from start to finish has been sort of a really interesting journey for you that will be fantastic journaling material later, and then bringing back to your home culture with various tales of what you saw and experienced. As far as the other elements go, there's not much to say for them that you would know any specifics about. But the representation of this, showing all of these individual battles, and as you've progressed up the hallway and into this room, you can see each phase of the war that went on with these colossal titans just kind of played out phase by phase. And at the very end, this room looks to be the culmination of the end result. As you can see now, the destruction laid before you of each individual titan and what they caused in the entire continent.
Yeah, I'd be writing and sketching everything I've learned in my journal.
And that's about the extent of what you get as you're vigorously just writing down and sketching things. What is everyone else doing?
I'm keeping an eye on Alara. What is she doing?
She seems to be standing by the doorway just inside, not wanting to intrude on what you're doing. Seeing herself as sort of like an outsider to the group at the moment. She doesn't want to take any swift movements or act on her own around everybody. Very reserved individual. You've noticed kind of just the little bit you've been around her.
Okay. I'm going to say, if you give me some time, I could detect if there's any magic in the room. See if there's any either magical mechanisms at work or anything like that.
If you think it's necessary, by all means.
Okay. I'm going to start to ritually cast Detect Magic.
All right. You set up in one side of this room as you begin to ritually cast your spell. What is everyone else doing while this is taking place?
S finds a place to set the torch down and then kind of just props himself up against the doorway wall and just watches everybody looking around the room, see if anything catches his eye.
Would that technically
As
count
the
as a short rest for him?
No.
Since we're waiting
or-
not
10
quite.
minutes?
no,
10 minutes is not enough for a short rest, unfortunately, in that regard.
Okay.
But 10 full minutes do go by as you sit and begin to just observe and take in and Darjo, you're sketching and kind of going section by section, making filling up your book with as much as you can while you have the time here. Alara standing over near where S is, just a little bit further in the room, just maybe 5 feet further in. Just kind of turns to S and says, "This group of yours, I'd be curious to hear your motivations after we've exited this and had time to settle down."
Well, depending on the circumstances when we get out, we may be able to accommodate that.
I would like that very much. I would also be proceeding afterwards back to my village with the information that I have gathered here. It's a lot. I've not seen a place like this.
It is a very unique place, I must say that myself. I wasn't expecting to see a sarcophagus in the last room.
And not to mention all of these items of wealth. It's a little overwhelming.
Very true, very, very true. It is.
Go
But
ahead and roll a insight check for me, real quick.
it's fine. Right, you pull up the character sheet. That's right. +6.
And you have guidance.
$11.
Well, at least it wasn't a nat 1.
Oh, I wish it was, because then I could have used lucky.
It was like you
You could
require a nat
still
1,
use
or can you use it at
You
any
can still
point?
use lucky.
I thought it was only a 1.
No, that's only halfling's luck.
Oh. Well, I'm
Lucky
going to use
lets-
lucky.
Okay.
Screw it. Why the heck not? I took the feat for a reason.
True enough.
Does that allow me to use guidance again?
You use the same guidance as you already previously rolled.
Okay.
It just re-rolls the d20 in that roll.
Only 2 that time.
Much better. You get the sense that now that you're standing here having a casual conversation, not really pressured with any type of combat or post-combat feelings or thoughts. Alara is controlling herself quite well to not go after this gold, but you can see there's like an intention in her eye, like it might be something that she's holding back from asking. I'll put it that way.
S looks at Alara. I know the gold is tempting, but it was placed there for the dead. Leave the dead's items alone. We do not want to disturb them.
You do realize that even one piece of this ancient elemental gold would be quite expensive, more than a regular piece of gold.
I know that very well. But sorry, my brain stopped functioning for me for a moment. Disturbing the dead is never a wise idea.
I suppose I am willing to settle for just this ritual dagger. That would be enough. Struggling to even just say that.
I would just rather us avoid unnecessary risk.
I see what you're saying. And at that point, your ritual cast has concluded, and you can feel just the wave of energy spread across the room, as you can feel now from where you're at that there is a large amount of magical energy coming from this sarcophagus. It looks like the sarcophagus itself, as well as a few items inside, seem to be enchanted in some way.
Okay. Well. So, whatever inside the sarcophagus is emitting a lot of magical energy. There
Of
seems
what
to
kind?
be what kind of magical energy? Rare.
It looks like just various enchantments.
Various enchantments. Most likely some enchanted gear equipment.
S looks up and says, I was just got telling Laura this. Let's leave the sarcophagus and its items alone. We do not want to disturb the dead.
The sarcophagus itself, however, seems to be a different type of magic, a much stronger magic, a transmutation of some kind.
The sarcophagus itself is emitting transmutation magic. So, most likely, whatever's in there would probably attack us.
Did you say probably would attack us or wouldn't?
Would.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
So
surprised if there's an elemental somewhere.
So it strengthens what I said. Let's leave well enough alone.
While they're talking, Rare, I'm going to take another look at the mission scroll for this location, just to make sure we're not missing anything. See what else is there.
This particular scroll, it was just to retrieve the relic and explore the area itself and bring that back that information. But that's it for the specific one.
That's what I thought. So there's no specific description of quote relic.
No, it says dagger question mark.
Okay.
Oh no, there's gonna be a problem.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Y'all, I'm not they're not very clear on what it is we're supposed to be bringing back.
Well,
We're supposed to scout the area, let them know the terrain, etc., and to bring back a relic, which they're not even sure is a dagger, because it's got a question mark.
S, I know you said you don't want to disturb the dead, but I would still very much like to know what kind of magic is at work here.
There are those.
Knowing the history of Varia's father, S looks and very odd for S to say this. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I stand by what I said. I don't. My full belief is let the dead rest. And that T is very sharp.
Yes, we did accept this. They didn't tell us there were dead in the area. We don't even know if there's a dead body in there for all we know. It's empty or there's a magic item that's being housed in there instead of a body.
You could see the look in S's eyes that's like, you do what you want, I will walk away.
Do you remember there are the other two treasure hunters who were originally here before us? We may find them on the way back.
We just need to settle this now because we still got to go to those other locations. So whatever we're doing, we need to decide now. If this is just something we're going to mark down as a question mark and come back, so be it. We just need to make that call now.
Well,
You
I
just
vote,
see S lean up against the wall and cross his arms.
since there's already other people coming for this anyways, and we just opened a passageway for all of it, we should be the ones to find out what it is.
They weren't necessarily talking about this location. There's other locations that we think they're going to, if that makes sense.
We physically saw them in the ruins. We just managed to get here before they did.
That was Alara. We saw Alara in the ruins.
No, we saw two people in the ruins, and then we saw
We saw
Alara.
one. Rare, I thought I saw a single person sneaking around, and I thought that single person was Alara.
So to clarify everything, whenever you did your flyover, you did see just you could identify just the characteristics of that person that you saw at the bar that one time who was in these ruins. However, whenever you got here, Alara was the one sneaking around.
I misunderstood. I thought they were one and the same. My apologies.
Nope.
You are right, Ajo. There were others around, and I know that the one wasn't alone when in prior situations. So
To be fair, I will say this to S for you to US. This is transmutation magic, not necessarily necromancy. So what's most likely in there is not the undead.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's some kind of sealed elemental, like that
His
water
thing
one
is
from
not
earlier.
about undead. No, his thing is not about the undead. It's about the dead, not undead. It's this whole thing he has.
Oh. Okay.
I
Well,
will not touch the sarcophagus. If you open it, you open it.
well,
You
before
know
that,
where I stand.
I would just like to investigate the sarcophagus before we open it, if we even do.
Go ahead and describe to me how you examine it then.
I would try to, since we know there's transmutation magic on it, I would try to look with my arcane knowledge to figure out maybe what it is, well, what it could be, or any other magical things of note.
Since you've identified the magical nature of it, you can see that within the intricate gold inlay and artwork lies the actual arcane writing that gives it this transmutation. Do any of you speak Draconic?
Yes.
Perfect. I knew the answer before I said it.
I was gonna say, I hope so.
As you can see along the scrawling, a distinct couple lines to it that describe how the entire purpose is for any physical contact will turn everything within a certain radius, structure wise, back to sand.
Including the person who touched it?
No. Specifically, it says any structure.
Do I know the radius?
It says that within a sphere up to about 500 or 600 feet.
That would be entire ruins on top of us, wouldn't it?
That would encompass about to the edge of the ruins. It seems like they did certain measurements to list it out inside of this sarcophagus.
Do I know if it's an all at once, or is it like a radial out? So like it starts at the sarcophagus and moves out, or is it everything all at once?
It starts at the sarcophagus and then moves outward from there.
Well, so if we do open the sarcophagus, we need to grab what's in it and run real fast. Because it'll bring the entire ruins down on top of us.
I'm sorry. No, no. I fly in the air. I can't fly through sand. No.
Okay.
We will mark this down. as Hyrule is writing on the quest sheet, danger esophagus is literally what Hyrule writes on the screen, on the map, and just circles it. Okay.
Come back a
let's
level 5.
come back never. Literally come back careful never. This blah blah. Hyrule doesn't know magic, okay? And so okay, let's go back, reset it so people can't see this pathway and hope that nobody else can find it. Because at least not while we're around. Okay? Don't touch anything.
Well, we may want to write a letter or a sign for anyone else who comes in the future, just to be safe. Otherwise, nobody else is ever finding these ruins again.
Hyrule rolls their eyes. Fine. Just don't touch anything else.
Bess pulls out a javelin and stabs it into the ground, posted on this.
Okay, I'll tear a piece of paper out of my journal and write what'll happen if they touch the sarcophagus on the note and put it on the javelin.
Okay, easy enough. You list the as much detail as necessary on this sheet of paper and post it up. Is it just inside or outside of the door frame?
I would put it in front of the doorway, the entryway to the room, so they have to walk past it in order to enter the room.
Okay, perfect. Okay, post it there and attach it so that it will remain.
And I'll use prestidigitation to create a very bright glowing mark on the note so nobody can miss it for the next hour.
Okay.
Would it have affected, well, would it have been in effect if we touched the gold or just the sarcophagus itself? The sun wasn't on the sarcophagus.
It would seem like the actual scrawling lists the sarcophagus as well as the items given for tribute. It was not specific.
Okay, so assume everything in the room then, possibly including the vases I was looking at earlier.
Okay.
We
mean-
need to get out of here before we all die. Now, please.
I mean, just from how much they're trying to protect their sarcophagus, I assume it may be a religious leader as well. So I write that down in my journal next to everything.
Perfect.
Then I assume everyone's very quickly trying to leave, just in case.
You would see at least Hyrule is definitely shooing people back out into the hallway and up the hall.
Oh yeah, Hyrule is trying to get out of here.
Bess is just making sure that Alara is in front of him before he leaves.
Oh yeah. Seems to be not the first one out of the room, but with a little bit of disappointment, does eventually trail into the hall in front of US. Doesn't seem to make any sudden movements.
Leaves.
Yeah, and I would try to close the passage behind us with the mirrors.
Okay. It actually doesn't take much. As you move one of the mirrors from its designated spot, the entire uh, doorway itself deactivates and then closes. So you can move the mirrors from there however you randomly wish to.
Yeah, I'll change where they're facing somewhat randomly.
Okay.
And be careful when we're leaving, because who knows what the other people are waiting for us or not.
As puts the torch out, puts it back, and then looks at Alara. Oh, you happy I said something?
I suppose I think your friend is quite smart. Looks at the dragon.
Thank you.
Team, a wise man and a smart man on the same squad. Things will go good, hopefully. But let's get out of here while we can.
Didn't I say that a while ago? Come on already. Get out of here before we accidentally kick into the coin, okay?
We're already out of that room.
It don't matter. We're getting out of here. Out of here. Go look at the rest of this place and hope we don't find anything else. At least not like that.
Alara makes a special point to re-equip her sand shoes now that she's re-entering that room.
Where'd you get those shoes? They seem useful.
A member of my tribe that was a sand dweller, he made them special for key members that wish to explore that area. And you can see it's just a bunch of tightly woven string and twine inside of a wooden frame that is in a bunch of like square patterns. Gives you more more balance as well as stability upon sand as well as probably other things.
S decides to start heading up the steps out of this part.
And yeah, you exit back into that sloped hallway. It's actually that much harder now going up instead of going down, as the sand seems to be a lot more resistant and wanting to push you further down the sloped hill. Go ahead and everyone make a general dexterity roll for me.
I'm flying. Does that matter?
Yeah, you don't have to make one.
Why can't it be athletics?
And in fact, you can pick someone of the group to give them advantage on it.
Well, I just got a 7.
I was debating between you and S, actually.
Yeah, also
I got a 7.
Doesn't matter which one, I guess, now.
When at random, those were the two I was debating on. They rolled the same thing.
That's a 20.
That's a good roll.
I'm gonna roll a d6. Evens is Darjo, odds is S. It's basically deciding whoever I was closest to. Y'all didn't hear that because I pressed. But anyway, odd. So S. Did I say that right? I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't help at all.
And I was going to say the person that you choose not to help, Alara will assist the other person. So Darjo, you can make one more roll.
I'm so screwed.
That's also a
That's
3.
hilarious.
We both rolled the same thing twice in a row.
Twice.
Okay, Pete and repeat.
Thing 1, thing 2.
So I assume we're
Both
trying to
rolled a
help each
7,
other and we're
both
both
rolled a 3.
falling.
Yes.
Right. So it seems like you'll need to take extra time to actually make your way up this, where otherwise it would have been easy. So imagine for me, now that you're inside of this situation and it's a little tough, the place is collapsing and you have to get out.
I'd be dead.
Y'all glad you didn't touch the thing now?
I'll come back.
You will be on your own.
Varia, it would seem like your friends are definitely struggling, where you're having a much easier time. The sand that you're marching upon seems to be cooperating, while theirs, unfortunately, is not.
I would help. I have an I have an 8 in strength.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
And yeah, so there's a lot of that going on where you're just slipping and sliding. And it's hard to
Unintentional
predict.
breakdancing.
Yeah, it's hard to predict the sand and its movements because it's all magically moving, let alone moving down the hill. But after about, we'll say, okay, another hour of time trying to get up this hallway, you eventually make it back to the doorway and outside into the entry chamber. It was already late, pretty much sundown whenever you got here. After exploring and getting back out into this area, you realize the sun has definitely gone down.
Do you remember what they said at the guild hall? That some kind of sandworm type thing likes hanging around these ruins. So watch where you're going.
I'll be back in a moment.
Well, I suppose we have 2 daggers now.
Yep.
I'd want to identify them both before we do too much with them. Who knows if one of them's cursed or not?
Yeah, we basically for identifying, It's a long rest. You can identify one item, but you can't tell if it's cursed or not.
Well,
I'm just
the
holding on to them. I'm not using them.
well the dagger that we got that I think is a Titan shard. Didn't you say it had a necromantic aura on it?
Correct.
Yeah. I can check both daggers again because I still have Tech Magic up right now.
I don't think you ever checked the first one that we found.
They're literally tucked into Hyle's belt, so
I would have seen them, yeah. Anyways, Rare, what's the other dagger's magical aura?
Remind me which one you actually did.
The water dagger.
so the other one's the one from the pillar.
Yeah.
Ah, there it is. That one has no magical properties. It's just a
Yeah.
very pretty looking ritualistic style dagger. That's it.
No,
I
I
see.
thought you said it was magic. I guess you're just referring to the potion then.
Yeah, so I had someone, if you detected magic, which I can't remember if you did or not, but
I did.
it was the potion that was giving off the magical essence. It was not the dagger.
Okay. Oh, I didn't do the potion when I didn't see the potion with the Tech Magic up. I think the potion's still locked up in
It'd be in
Darjo's.
yeah, it'd be in my pack. You should be able to detect it through
Yeah, I
objects.
should be able to. Yeah. So what's the potion, Rare?
So the potion. Are you doing identify? So everything?
No, it's just detect magic.
Okay, so it's just a type of enchantment then.
Okay. If I recall, if you take a small sip, you can identify what kind of potion it is.
I have herbalism's kit, so I'd be fine just trying to figure it out when we get time.
Okay, well, I'll identify the dagger. You identify the potion, I guess.
That works.
Okay.
Are we resting in the ruins, or are we trying to go to the next place, even though it's dark out?
Rare, what time of the evening is it by the time we get back outside?
Way past sunset, I think it's completely dark out.
Yeah,
What he
so
said.
you get back out and it is definitely closer to late into the night. Not quite midnight, but it's definitely late into the night.
We should rest up, set up watch, make sure that we don't get surprised overnight. So we do a basic setup. We don't have to do a whole camp, but we should get this done so that way we can make sure we are rested for tomorrow.
Okay.
Alara pipes up at that and says, "Would we want to rest in the what seems to be throne room building that is inside of the ruins? Maybe it seems to be a large enclosed area."
Yeah, something highly defensible. That works.
Very well.
All right. Starts to march that way.
I will follow.
And I do keep a lookout for the two people here who were before us, even though it's been a few hours. So who knows if they're still around.
Okay. Go ahead and just make a general perception check for me then as you head that way.
And would my familiar help or no?
If you ask them to, yes, they could make their own perception check. Or assist you with yours, whichever is higher.
They have advantage on perception checks on sight or hearing. And the bonus will be the same either way, so.
Okay. So either way, you'd get an extra d20 roll.
$13 it is.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind as you head that way back through the ruins towards the first building that was on the left that had the big throne room.
Yeah, that's the one we could close the doors on, right?
Right. Opening and heading in there, you shut the doors behind you and secure up camp inside of this area. And before we get into like first watch and second watch, because we'll just do like 2 different shifts throughout the night, we will just go ahead and take a quick break and wait for A-Rob to come back. That way we can have everybody here for their watch.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I don't want anyone to miss this sweet, sweet social time.
Yay.
I'm back. I'm just waiting for dinner to finish cooking for Des and Soren. Shoot, I should probably wash a dish for them. Give me a moment. Sorry. Guten Tag.
Welcome back.
I'll have to grab the food here in a moment, but I'll still be able to listen and everything. So I'll just do it on somebody else's watch.
Okay.
And I can still hear over Dez's computer, so
Okay. You ready, Rare? Everyone back?
Yep.
your food's on its way, buddy. For shits and giggles. 77.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. We're all
Everybody
here.
is.
And it looks like A-Rob's ahead of the game. I was going to ask for a D100 roll for events to happen overnight.
From each of us, or just a single for the whole crew?
Whoever wants to roll it, just a single one.
Oh, well, he took care of it, I guess.
Would you
Mine
like to use the
annoying.
77? It's up to you.
Let's go with it. I'm okay with it.
Why not?
Okay, so 77.
Why me?
I need another D100 roll.
I'll roll
Why do
this
you guys
time.
trust my rolls?
Oh, it's nothing to do with trusting your rolls. It's wanting to see what happens with the rolls.
Another one from me, Rare, or somebody else?
One from whoever wants to do it.
Somebody else this time.
I'll do this one.
Okay.
Yeah, failure is a team effort.
And shouldn't you have me and Boyd roll then? Since we've been rolling the same exact
Completely.
number? So I think we also both rolled a 13 at one point. Yeah, we both rolled a 13 earlier.
That would be astronomically absurd if it happened on a D100. That would actually mean something. The planets have aligned if that happened.
I'll still be able to hear what's going on. I'm just grabbing the dinner real quick.
Okay. Who wants to take first watch?
I will while I'm doing the examination on the dagger.
So will I.
Where do you post up at?
At the doorway.
Well, I assume we closed the door.
You did.
Okay.
So posting up just outside the door then?
I think it'd be better to stay in the building.
Yeah, I'll stay inside the door.
All right. So you'll find a spot just inside of the closed doorway there, and then a chunk of time goes by. What would you like to how would you like to pass your time? I know you said examining the dagger.
Yep.
And I'd also like to figure out what the potion is.
All right. You're talking about the magical dagger. Let's see.
Yes.
That one. There it is. So this magical dagger is similar in build and make to the one that you found that's non-magical. However, the blade itself is made out of this jagged glass material, as if it was made out of a piece of the mirror that you're trying to assemble. However, it has some different properties to it. You would identify that immediately as it gives it some type of between the realms type of magic. But the this is like full on identify, right?
No, well, basically, except for it doesn't tell me if it's cursed or not.
Aha, okay. So the property with this dagger is when it is used to perform its ritualistic function, which is just simply stabbing someone. That person or living creature it's stabbed into has a percent chance, a D100 chance of being transported to the water realm. That's everything functionally with the dagger itself. Beyond that, it's just a really intricate, nice looking dagger that would have been made for more than likely special moments used inside of specific specific rituals, but that's it. going over to the potion now. Just kind of using your kit as well as some extra care, you take out a small dab of this and give it a quick, just simple sample. And with a quick taste, you can see that this is a this potion grants the user one 24-hour period of freedom of movement.
Okay, so it's a freedom potion.
Yes, it's for the duration, so the 24 hours, you're unaffected by any type of difficult terrain or magical effects that either reduce your speed or paralyze you or restrain you in any way, basically.
Okay.
You can also spend a 5-foot movement to automatically escape any non-magical restrictions.
You may get open.
And that includes any type of binds, any type of grappling that you may be in. You can also move and attack as if normal underneath water as well. So all of that inside of that little vial.
Okay.
That whole process takes up about half of your total watch time. So how would you like to spend the other half of it?
Um, I would spend it playing with Minna and Magic.
I'll do my stretches.
All right. Nothing eventful happens beyond that. You can hear just the the general wind as it picks up and calms down of the sand muffled blowing outside of this building. After a little bit, you finish your watch and go to wake up the next people for their watch. Who's next? First off, I'll have you go ahead and make that roll so I can check out my table and stuff.
1d100.
A D100, yes, to start.
I'll do it. 31.
And then D4.
Two.
Perfect. Y'all can proceed as far as where you're posting up, just kind of generally socializing, and I'll add anything if it comes up.
Bess will probably post up by the door. Since he is a close range combat type of guy, that would probably be the best place for him to post up at.
No. And I'm just considering if I would have Hyrule go outside and be on top of the building or not. But I'd probably also. I think I was considering the same thing last time. What in between the yeah. We'll just go ahead and stay, I guess, inside with everyone for now. But I'm also going to keep a very close ear. If I hear anything suspicious outside, I'm also willing to go outside.
Okay. I will point out, since you're so curious about the outside of the building, there are some tall glass pane windows. About
Ooh.
half of them are broken in some way, either by slightly larger than a medium-sized humanoid shape, or it is just completely just blown out. But you do have those if you'd like to look outside.
Yes, please. I will definitely post up in some of those.
Currently, where's the dagger?
I thought it was with me.
No, Vari had it.
Oh, right. You guys had it.
I would like to take the dagger and hold on to it.
Okay.
Better to have people that are awake keep guard of them.
And just to note that, is that going to be a regular thing moving forward as far as taking watch goes? You'll be transferring the dagger?
For right now, things may change if party members change. If
Okay.
others agree with me.
I mean, right now I'm fine with it being handed off to whoever's keeping watch.
I'll go ahead and save that for a later conversation then. As one posts close to the door, the other you have some choices. You could either stay on the left side of the building, which is closer to the entrance of the ruins where you came in, or you can stay on the right side, which is deeper into the ruins.
I'm gonna go to the right, actually, I think. Because isn't that where I saw the motion later on in the night?
You did, yes.
I'm gonna stay on that side then.
Okay. About 2, 3, 4 hours go by, and it is a here and there breeze of desert winds. It gets more intense and then it comes back down, and there's an ebb and a flow and a rhythm to it. Occasionally, you will hear some type of uh, flapping of some type of winged uh, creature, Hyrule.
Do I see
And
any signs of it in the sky or anything?
you you kind of look up, and yes, in fact, you do see some type of it almost looks like a bat of some kind, but it has a dark brownish hue to it as it kind of seems to be nesting inside of this building more towards the roof area, and
Gotcha.
it flutters around and goes back to its nest. Um, from its pattern, as you kind of watch it just mindlessly as you're sitting here keeping uh, keeping an eye on everything, you would notice that it is searching for uh, some type of grubs to uh, to eat, as well as bring back to its nest, assumably for the little ones that live there.
Okay. Make a mental note that they are there. Kind of to turn that sound into a background noise, but not. But any deviant sound of wings, I will still recognize as something wanting my attention. But I'm definitely still going to keep a sight on what's going on outside.
All right. And at this point, I will open it up to any conversation you'd like to have.
This is just constantly looking over at where the party's sleeping, where our new friend, Rivaria, and Darjo are sleeping. Still not 100% sure on her, but that's why he took the knife or the dagger. How far away is Hyrule from me?
Depends on which window. Do you want to take the one closer to the entrance or closer to the back of the building?
Oh, I figured I'd take the one by the entrance.
I'm in a Hyrule. Which
Oh.
one did you post up at?
Oh, I thought we covered this. I was looking at the ones facing deeper into the ruins.
Right, there are two on that side of the building.
There's
There's one closer
to
to
the
the
door.
entrance door, and then
Yeah,
there's
closer
one
to
that's
the
closer to
entrance.
the back of the building.
At first I would be close to the entrance, but I'd also occasionally flutter a little bit back, just in case I want to keep my eyes open to more than just the one side.
Okay, so we'll say that Hyrule is shifting between 15 to 30 feet, give or take angles.
Are you seeing anything so far?
Just about family so far.
So, what are you thinking about all this?
That I don't want to get buried in sand.
Well, you don't like being underground in general.
That's not the case. I don't like being buried in general.
Taking you down into the caves on the island was a pain. So taking you into underground in general is not fun.
If I have room to stretch my wings, I'm fine.
Well, who knew that we'd be adventuring again?
Yeah, well, we're here, and this is what we've got going for us.
Well, very true. At least it's under our terms and not the military's.
Yeah. By the way, Rare, I am still keeping a very close eye on what's going on outside as a point of clarification during this entire conversation.
Copy that.
I'm gonna patrol the room real quick. I'll be right back.
Yep. I've got my eyes on the skies and the ground.
S gets up and just does a perimeter check all around the room.
Okay. Make a perception check for me.
Well,
You obviously see your friends, but you also see the throne at the back center of this chamber, a few banners on the wall, broken pane glass windows, quite tall, a couple pillars. As far as searching the room, it makes it a little complicated because you have to circle each one and make sure that you checked every bit of this building. And as you circle around the far end of the chamber where the throne is, you look back and see that your new friend, just something to note, does sleep with a dagger in their hand. And then you make your way past on the way.
once S gets back, just for future reference, my new friend does sleep with a very sharp object in her hand.
Clearly has a lot of trust issues. I mean, I'm not going to say much more than that.
S just kind of shrugs his shoulders and just takes up post again, just listening and just waiting for any sign from Hyrule that something is happening that he doesn't sense.
And as another chunk of time goes by, the ruins remains that eerie quiet. The occasional rustle that Hyrule would just mindlessly know is just the bat doing its thing. Beyond that, your watch goes by perfectly fine.
I'll take it. I'm okay with calm nights.
Well, that was a long night.
I suppose.
Everyone does get the equivalent of a long rest. Just so it's stated.
Very much appreciated.
Yeah. I needed the help. Esco's make sure that everyone's getting up and around. Well, rise and shine, everyone.
Morning. Warrior starts doing her stretches. And while preparing her spells.
You'll notice that Darjo didn't even stir at all.
And Alara gets up pretty much immediately. For those that weren't aware, they don't notice her sneakily stowing the dagger back. But for those that are aware, it's somewhat obvious by the motions. But she starts to roll up her bedroll and do her own types of stretches.
Hess goes over to Darjo and just bends down next to him. Young one, it's time to wake up.
What? Oh, okay. Very, very groggily tries to stand and almost falls over.
Hess catches you as you're about to fall over.
Thank you. And obviously still a very heavy sleeper.
Well, I can tell that. Dude, good thing nothing happened in the middle of the night. I would have taken an arrow to wake up you.
Yeah. You guys want breakfast or we heading out quickly?
I mean, something simple is fine.
Let's just grab some rations and hit the road.
All right.
And I didn't state this before, but as you do have what is considered fresh rations from your Oasis meal. You didn't eat everything, so there is leftovers from that.
Solid to know. I'm gonna have everything packed up, obviously, in Vane. But while everyone else is getting around, I'm actually going to go out those upper windows that's already been broken, and get some higher ground and scout to make sure nothing else is in the vicinity.
Okay.
Minna would go with you.
I'm flying.
Minna is my familiar.
Oh, sorry, missed that.
Herb friend. The
Yeah.
kleptomaniac.
You and you and Minna go flying out that window, and Hyrule, you, out of curiosity, but also making your rounds, just fly over towards where the majority of the sounds from the evening were happening for
Mm-hmm.
the bat, and you'll notice that there is a circular window on the back side of this building that goes too deep to see inside of, but you'll know from the sounds that's where the thing was living.
Gotcha.
And you begin to fly on by, and just kind of keep your eyes out as you make your perception check, you and Midna. So either you can both make individual checks, or one can get an advantage. Up to you.
Minna gets advantage on all perception checks, or at least with sight and hearing. So would it be better to roll them separately?
Fine with me.
However you'd like to divide the roll, it's done with advantage.
I mean, I'll go ahead and make my own roll then, if Mina's gonna make their own roll.
How do you write it out as advantage in the dice spot?
It's you put in, it'd be a D20, it'd be 2D20 KH1 plus your modifier.
Oh, I'm blind as a bat.
Haha, bat joke. Haha.
That was literally a natural 1, so total of 6.
Well, Minna got a 15.
Good to know. That's why
Yeah, at
rolling
least I'm
separately is
not the
not a bad
first
idea.
nat one of the playthrough right now.
There, that's the thought of that roll.
Yeah, we got it out of the way. At least in this case, you had someone to back you up.
I'll take it.
I'm not going to say you were as blind as a bat, but you were definitely deep in thought about whatever you may be thinking about at the moment. As Midna begins to fly around, now the other side of the building, you split ways out the window, and around the front of this building, the sun is now just barely cresting the horizon, as just very, very dim light begins to come over the dunes. You don't see anything besides desert scape and the ruins, as you meet on the other side of the building and just fly back in one of the other broken windows. What's everyone else doing in the meantime?
S would probably be finishing packing and making his way out the front door.
I would
Varia. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Okay, I'd be checking my journal to make sure I didn't miss anything I just learned, and I'd be following behind S.
Varia will pack up pack up the rest of her things and follow suit.
And Alara does the same thing, being fairly quick to pack up her things. Doesn't have much. And then is pretty much right out the door just behind S, making a point to stay close behind S. And as you exit out the front of the door, into this dimly lit ruins, Hyrule and Midna come flying in the window and notice everyone and just join the end of this adventuring brigade out the front of this door. What would you like to do? Where would you like to go?
I will. Come here a moment.
What's up, S?
Takes the dagger out of his pocket and hands it to him. You're the best to hold on to this since you're usually in the sky. You're the hardest to get to.
No problem. I tuck the dagger away for the moment until prying eyes are no longer nearby. Hint, hint, special friend. And once I bring up the rear and in the sky, I'll hand it to Vane.
No complaints.
And I am trying to keep what I'm doing away from her, by the way. So if I have to do a stealth check, I will, but
Yeah, sleight of hand, please.
$22. Really? That's where the 17 comes into play? Okay.
Either way, you're good.
Sounds good.
It doesn't seem to notice. You have enough of a ability to get a distance and do maybe like go behind a building real quick and pretend like you're doing a watch.
Yeah. Not to mention feathers, so I mean, I'm sure I can hide things well compared to other people.
That's true.
I have fluff over my stuff, so you know.
Fluff over your
No.
stuff. Got it.
I mean, never mind. That came across really weird. Which direction are we going, y'all? Can you remind me which way we've already been here? Because I'm struggling to remember. I know we were in that underground space.
We need to
We're
go,
Right.
heading to our next location.
yeah, which is further east.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so there's maybe another temple, and then past that is the group of missing adventurers we're supposed to find, I believe.
That sounds like the thing we're supposed to do.
Correct. Would you like to pass by the first location onto the second one, or are you going to hit it along the way?
I mean, the second spot is where I thought we were supposed to be heading in the first place.
Our main quest is, yeah, the next place we would go, and the missing adventuring party is a side quest we picked up. But supposedly they have a magic item we also need to find. So who knows if that could be helpful or not.
I thought the magic item was at the previous one.
So from what I remember, we were told that there was potentially a dagger or some kind of magic key in the ruins we're currently at. And then our quest from Aisha is from the next location. And then the adventuring party was sent out to find a stolen magic item. They went missing, and we were sent out to find both them and the magic item if possible.
And there were some not so nice people around as well. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, do we want to find the missing adventuring party, or do we want to do the main quest item first?
I still stand by my thought of Aisha's told us what she needs us to do. And we did tell the other people that sent us on these other quests that that was our priority. I mean, first comes, first serves, our needs, but y'all talk about what y'all want to talk about.
Well, lives are at stake, but depending on how they're missing already, chances are they're already gone from this world.
Did they actually mention how long ago they disappeared and went on to find the item?
They had mentioned that it's been a week.
So yeah, there's very little chance they're still alive at this point.
At the more specifically, at the point of the Oasis, it's been 5 days, but by now it's been an extra day.
So by the time we get there, it would be another whole day if we don't stop.
Correct. And that's with your ability to travel.
Yeah, I was hoping that that was the case, or I figured that that was the case, rather. You all deliberate. I'm said my piece.
Well, is Alara going to continue with us, or is she going to separate off to do whatever she was doing?
Well, for me, she just kind of everyone as you're just kind of talking amongst yourselves, all of you just turn towards her, and she just kind of is a little startled by the mention, but understandably is like, oh, I guess that is a thing. I don't mind exploring more ruins now that there's some type of help, and I'm not alone doing it. I found it very dangerous to go into this one myself, and let's say that my village has equipped me very well to traverse the sands. So whatever extra things I could bring back or extra help I could give, I would be happy to do so.
Well, I know you're here for knowledge, but also pointing in the direction of where the Oasis is. Over there is the Hall of Heroes. They'll be able to give you information as well that you may be able to take home.
Is that where you're going?
That's where we're
You'll be
going.
going back there
No,
at a
that's what we
later
came from.
time. We'll be heading there.
Then it may benefit me to stay with you until that moment.
It would be beneficial to have someone who's an expert of disarming traps and all of that, you know? And there is that ceremonial dagger that we don't have any use for that we can give to her for people.
I was already planning on giving that to her because that's what she originally wanted, at least agreed to take.
Yes, that dagger would benefit my village greatly, at the least.
Well, I would say
Well,
our next stop should be where Lady Aisha has sent us. And then once we finish there, let's head to where the adventurers have disappeared.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
as I walk past Alara, I would just hand her the dagger because consider it advance payment.
Okay. She non-discreetly makes sure that she puts it into her pack inside of one of the uh, more secure pouches. I appreciate that. Thank you. And as you begin to trek that direction through the desert sands, it's still quite early in the morning, and your travel is made easier by Hyrule um, but also made that much easier as it would seem Alara has some type of information about what these bandit holes look like and where they're typically made and built, as that knowledge is passed on to you. Being able to identify and avoid those specific things, specifically telling it in more detail to Hyrule as you begin to fly up and see what she's exactly talking about. Those little valley areas, as well as the dip and flow of the desert sands, and where they may be placed. In fact, but as Hyrule flies up, Alara does turn to S and inquire, who is this Lady Aisha that you've so mentioned before? Our village is far removed from many religions, and we're quite curious, information-wise.
Oh, Lady Aisha is a very prominent figure in. Oh, how should I put this? My brain is just completely blanking right now. She traveled and helped bring together two deities, Grieve and Vita, years ago. I worship the deity Gravita. I could go on and on about what she has done for this world of ours and her friends. But she is a very strong protector of life in our world.
Interesting that the world would need a protector as such. It almost seems like a natural thing, a natural flow, to just allow that to happen rather than have a representative for such.
With us knowing like the history of like the adventures of um, Aisha and everything, he would probably know that each deity has his own person, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, each deity has their own person in the mortal realm. So, Gravita having Aisha is not out of the norm.
Very interesting indeed. It's not something that is taught where I come from. You see, there's a one true natural uh, force that controls the ebb and flow of the many realms that exist. Life is just a life is just a river or an endless ocean. And the elders of our village often equate it to swimming across the seas, in that the more you do it, the more experience you have, but also the more knowledge you achieve and the deeper you can go.
The more you travel this world, the more you will learn. You learn so much right here, and just in your small town away from your village.
This is very true. The desert has always been a wall for our people uh, in a sense. It's such a dry, barren landscape that we have not explored beyond our village. That's the main reason they send out people like me to bring back that information and hopefully learn more about the creatures and things that live in that continent beyond.
She's a sea folk. Ah, well, you travel with us, you will learn plenty and have many more things to tell your people.
I believe I already am, as she kind of glances between a few of the members here. It's a diverse, interesting group that you've managed to assemble.
Well, you listen as we talk, you'll pick up even more. Hyrule and I have known each other for quite some time. I met Dajo when he was very young, when I traveled the world with my parents. And then Varia is a child of someone that adventured with Lady Aisha. There are some mixed feelings with that, but we won't go into that right now.
That is understandable.
But in life, there is so much more. There's pain in life. There's joy in life. For what I've done, traveling the world with my parents who were doctors, I've seen so much between people who have died, people on the verge of death, deities bringing people back from that verge. This world offers so much learning opportunities that if you continue to be out here, you will go back with so much information. Your people will praise you.
Our people have never gone beyond the Great Divide, as it's being called, the mountains that line the edge of this desert. It's a mystery to us. That is the one of many ultimate goals of our village, is to discover what is beyond and see what the other waters are like. There has to be an end, right? Another side.
World is. I won't spoil everything for you. If you want to find for yourself, continue to look. And S just gives her a smile.
And with that, you kind of come across one final dune as you see the you hear Hyrule give off a very familiar whistle or chirp. Comes across as a whistle. It's been trained that way. That S picks up, saying that you are close to your intended location.
Be ready, everyone. We're almost there.
Hyrule, from your elevated perspective, you see that for their travel, it'd be another between 10 to 15 minutes, but the ruins are laid ahead. It looks to be some type of long forgotten temple. Sturdy walls, doesn't seem to be caved in per se, but you can see how the sand has built up on the various sides, as well as it being periodically walked around, I suppose, by a few individuals that seem to be keeping an eye out into the desert. They don't seem to notice you, but you do in fact see like the black silhouette of them as they slowly move around the side of the building and disappear every occasionally.
Okay, on seeing that, I immediately fly down to join them on the ground. We need to be ready. We weren't the first ones here. And I double check with the compass. It's pointing at that ruin, correct?
Yes.
That's the place to be, I think. But the issue being, there's other people here.
Is it the would it be like the cult that I was researching?
I didn't get close enough to look. I didn't want to alert them that we were on the way, but I did see them moving around, in and around, and into it. So we need to be prepared. We were not the first here.
Well,
Well, we knew that they would be fighting. Let's get ready.
The fighting is never an issue for me. I am always prepared for that.
All right, how would you like to approach this temple ruins? What's the game plan?
How big is the area? At least from what we can see.
The area from what you can see, the building itself stands about 2.5 stories tall, as the bulk of it is exactly 2 stories, but there is an angled roof that gets it about another half story up, as well as a square rectangular separate part of this building that extends up to exactly 3 stories and levels out on the top. All encompassing, the building itself is hard to gauge from this area, from this distance, as far as size goes, but it is a fairly large building. The actual desert sands themselves stretch on for miles and miles. So the dunes seem, if you come in from certain angles, it could be able to obstruct your view, but you would need to be strategic with that as well.
So it's a 2.5, 3-story building in the middle of a desert plain with very little cover to sneak into the place. Is that right?
That appears what it seems to be, correct.
Okay. Can I send Minna to scout out, like, how many people are there?
You certainly can. If you'd like to make a roll for that, go ahead.
What do you want me to roll? Perception?
It would be a perception check, yes.
Uh, 23.
Okay. With a 23, the question, here's the next question. How stealthy would you like this to be?
Well, I doubt my familiar is common, so then again, most people don't look up. So not close to the building itself, so mainly what she can see through, like, windows or like around the outside of the building, I guess. So stealthy enough where she doesn't want to be caught.
Okay, then I'll have you make a separate stealth check considering those details.
That would be a 15.
Okay. Um, as Midna flies closer and closer and closer, trying to stay up high. Like you said, most people don't look up. So you're able to get fairly close to the building without being noticed in that way. And landing just on the edge of one of these 2.5 story roof sections. You look down and you see that there are two individuals walking around the outside of this building that are on opposite sides. So they have they have some type of watch or guard that seems to patrol there. Finding a particular window that is within a set time frame, you dip down. Would you like to look into the first story or the second story window? Alternatively, you could look into the third story window that's on the rectangular tower. Up to you.
Well, I would expect there to be a guard in the third story keeping a lookout, so I'll check there first. Well, I'll Minna check there first.
Okay. You flutter your way up to that third story, and there is a particular outermost side that has a circular window there. Perching and then peeking inside, what you see is a large alchemical laboratory with a cauldron that sits directly in the center of this room. No human bodies inside of this, from what you can tell, as the pane glass is making everything look sort of a greenish hue. So color is kind of hard to depict here. But you could see different vials in different places and tubes that run across ways and into other other tubes, but also maybe in other sections dripping as they slowly fill up other wells. And in the very center, the cauldron is giving off these slow bubbles that float into the air and then pop. There is a door, a trap door that is set at the far end that looks to be how to get to a lower floor, but that is all you see inside of this room.
So there is no one out here, up here. Can I have her look in the second story window?
Okay, sure.
And was it an open window or like a glass window?
No, it was a glass window. No types of visible holes or anything. It looks like a solid pane.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll have her look into the second window. Second story.
You will notice that the glass for this temple looks to be some type of thicker, more elemental resistant, like it was designed in a way to be able to withstand the desert and what it brings. So take that knowledge with what you will. Would you like to fly over to the left side or the right side of the building as you look inside?
I guess the left side, but whatever side is closest to where we currently are, in case somebody's looking in our direction.
Okay, got you. you fly over to the left side, which is the closest to your group, and you look inside. The first most accessible window there, and it is a fairly open temple that has a large altar that is in the very center of this chamber, a raised altar that has a stairway leading up to it, as well as a set of stones that line the ground that are colored. What colors, it's harder to pick because of the green, but they are two different colors. The centermost stones that lead up to the stairway between that and the door are different than every other stone in the room. So there is almost like a red carpet there. Inside, it would seem that there is a single human that is kneeling down at the bottom of the stairs there, hands folded in some type of prayer of some kind. You don't hear anything about what they're saying, but as far as what they're doing, they don't look up and notice you at the moment, as you have to break away and get back up to the rooftop perch before the guard comes around the side and sees you. What else would you like to do?
Trying to do my best to get a count of how many people are there. And if there's anything I notice particularly about them, like do they have specific symbols? Are they dressed like bandits or like a cult or what?
They are definitely dressed up like some type of cult. From your experience with S, you would know that the symbol that occasionally just seems to swing out and flop as you kind of like try to take a glance of it is the symbol of grieve, which is in this case an old, outdated religious symbol, now indicative of this cult.
Okay, so it is who I thought it was. So I guess I'll have Minna look through the other windows, doing her best not to be spotted, but trying to see how many there are.
Okay, the only windows that you have not looked through at this point is the first floor. It takes a special stealth to fly that low to the building and peer inside before as you kind of time the guard watch that's on the outside. So it'll require an actual perception check to see what you can get from that. So go ahead and roll me one.
That's a 6. And it's a good thing I had advantage because that was a natural 1 otherwise.
True enough. As you dip down, you do peer inside and you get the very general details of the large stone door that is at the entranceway of this chamber. It appears that that it is barred from the inside, some type
You're gone. You're cutting in and out.
Okay, let me go refresh it real quick.
Oh, I can hear you again.
Oh, it must have fixed itself, hopefully. It has a habit of doing that about halfway through the session, I guess. Anyway, you can hear me now, right?
Yes.
How far did I get in describing the room?
I could generally see what was in the window, but nothing past that.
Okay, so you can generally see in the window there is a large stone door at the that you would need to enter on the first floor to get into this chamber, as well as a crossbar that bars the inside of that door. There, across the chamber, there's so much indication of grieve just kind of painted on the walls, as well as what seems to be a uh, broken benches that are scattered and piled up in the different corners. Piles of sand also just kind of haphazardly scatter in different piles leading up to the other side of this room, which you can barely see a stairwell that goes in that doesn't have a door on it that leads upward. But that's all you see before you are forced to dart back up to the ceiling without being seen.
Okay, I'll have Midna come back to the group, and I would explain everything that I discovered.
Well scouted. That seems like where we need to be. So, how do we want to draw forces out? Do we want to? Is there anything that we should or can do? Should we try and get as many people out of the building as possible? Like,
From what I can tell, there's three. Two of them have weapons, and the one inside the building can be assumed to be a cleric of some kind.
right. My thought being, it might be better for us to fight them out here, where we can see kind of what's going on, versus in where they can do what could have set up whatever they pleased.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, the door was barred, so
How'd the roof look, by the way?
there was a slope on one side, and one side was sloped, and then the very top of the building was flat.
Yeah, but was there an entrance from the top? Or not?
If you want to smash through a glass window, you can.
That's always doable. Do you guys want me to take you up there?
Not all of us can fall from the ceiling.
Well, on the third story, there was a trapdoor that leads down into what I think is the temple area. But it's also filled with alchemical supplies, so
I can
Yes.
always try to use myself as bait because they're going to hate me.
Yeah, they would, wouldn't they?
So do we want one of us to sneak in through the top and the rest of us try to bait them outside to fight?
Oh no, my initial thought was to take us to carefully fly you all up to the roof and then us all bust in the window upstairs. That would certainly catch them off guard. But drawing them out with someone they hate, also not a bad idea.
They will definitely hate me if we want to try to draw them out. I just kind of smirk. I'll be your best option.
What, you gonna want to go chant outside their door? I mean, what's the game plan here?
Call them heathens for still worshiping a god that no longer exists.
Yeah, that would
Anything
definitely
that can blow
generate-
up.
What was that?
Oh, I just didn't know if anybody had any explosives with them, or the ability to make something explode.
Well, the only thing that I have is I can throw fire, but that's pretty much it.
I have my force breath, which can probably blast down the door if needed. I have grease that we can set on fire, and then magnify gravity, which will reduce their movement ability. Which is
Wait a minute.
like
Here's,
20-foot
here's an
radius.
idea. Here's an idea. If we set up grease on the ground outside the door, provided we are able, someone is able to sneak up there, and unnoticed, we lay a grease trap on the ground. Well, shoot, it's sand. Never mind. That wouldn't work. Ooh, here's a thought. Grease plus fire outside third story window, and then let them all freak out that there's a fire on the third floor, and force blast our way in from downstairs.
I do not recommend setting a fire in the alchemist workshop unless you want it to explode really big.
I mean, it's not a terrible plan.
We still have to go in there. If we light the place actually on fire, we're not going to be able to get in there.
Yeah,
the
we
building-
will. There's tons of sand we can use to snuff out the fire.
Not to mention the building is stone, right? That doesn't catch fire.
Exactly. Exactly. It's stone. It's a stone building. I'm simply trying to create a distraction. If the building explodes, well, we still have the compass to find the shards of glass.
Yes. And if I give my couple cents here, the stealthing, I could manage that if we find some method for me to do so that I consider safe. I also could possibly, as you described, it seems like their watch. I might be able to take one of them out and then take the other one out, the guards, without them noticing each other.
Now, that would be immensely helpful.
It's certainly worth a try. That's how I would suggest approaching this situation if I was to do it myself.
Well, if me and S would not be able to stealth their way up to the building, so you would be on your own if something goes wrong.
I'm also a
I-
fairly stealthy person.
Yes, I would hope that I would have some type of aerial support of some kind.
Naturally, naturally.
Um, of course, the desert is not my particular area of expertise, but I could certainly hide around a corner.
How fast were they patrolling around the building? Like, what's the period of time before they would notice one of them is gone?
Before they would notice the other one is gone. Um, that's hard to say because as they patrol, there's only two, so they would never meet each other.
Okay. I mean, I know Minna had to time her observation, so how long did it take him to circle the building?
To circle that part of the building to where I suppose you've timed it. A full circle around the whole building for one person is 4 minutes as they begin to just casually trek around the whole thing. So 2 minutes each. Again, it could be faster if they weren't on sand, but considering.
Well, I wouldn't mind you taking one out, but you definitely we definitely don't want to send you alone.
I mean, aerial support is happening.
Yeah.
So where would I hide or hide them?
You'd only need to take
Sand.
one out. If I was with you, I could easily put them under the sand, but I wouldn't be with you.
Well, here's the thing. We take one out, and we go get the other one.
Yeah, take one out, and you have a roughly 2-minute period before they'll notice. If they don't manage to yell out first, then it's probably like closer to half a minute.
I know we're all interested in killing them and possibly blowing up the building and all that. But what if we took one? What if we knocked one out?
All right. Knocking one out is possible. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I could put them to sleep.
You have sleep? Okay,
Yes, I do.
that could work. Would you be able to test it?
I'm pretty light on my feet.
Maybe this could be some type of joint effort of some kind.
I can
I wouldn't.
put one to sleep and you can take out the other one.
Yes. Do we prefer to keep both of them alive? Is that our goal?
I mean, I it doesn't really matter, I guess. The one with the most information is probably the one in the temple if we want information.
That's true. These guards don't, more than likely, don't know as much as the one at the altar there.
So we want the three of you. I will doing Overwatch. Gideon sinking to one side. Alara sneaking to the other to take out their respective guards, while me and S are on standby in case something goes wrong.
That's fine too.
Okay.
I think we have a plan, so I guess let's get started.
All right. I will. Okay. Begins to stealth that way, I suppose. And
I would
that.
cast guidance on her before she leaves.
Okay, perfect. Cast guidance. And I'm going to have you roll for stealth next time at the beginning of the next session.